Today's the day. This is what happened when I decided to build a wood splitter. Well, we did shut off and drain off the gas there, so we got it primed now. The only leak that we had in this whole unit is one that developed late in the season, and I put it away, and I knew that I was going to have to tend to this before we got running this season. And it's the main street elbow screwed right into the bottom of the tank, and we're going to drain out the fluid, we're going to pull this fitting, we're going to regroup it. And now that we know the proper alignment, we're going to mark it, and we're going to really get some, crank some threads on here and get it sealed up. And then we can get to giving it a bath and get it all prepped up, ready to go for this year. So I'm glad it fired off fine, and let's get going. I'd have a valve there, but I hate to have a weak point that would get knocked loose and not be able to stop the fluid. Well, we got the fittings on the bottom of the tank reseated, and no drip so far. So we're going to give it a run. We're going to raise it up and give this thing a bath. I get a comments on the color, the paint job on this thing, and I got some good friends that go, man, I thought you would like paint that camouflaged or something like that. At the time I was building it, I sent out an email to family and friends, and I said, what colors? You know, I only had 3 responses. Of course, my wife gets a response, okay, and and they happen to be their favorite colors, okay. My wife's favorite color was blue, and she's my support, my backbone, and that's why I gave the I-beam frame and the palm the blue color. Vanessa's sister Valerie, she liked purple, and this is actually purple. It looks pink sometimes in the light, but it's safety purple. And Valerie's a little pushy, so I painted all my hydraulics safety purple, which also I call it Interpack purple, because Interpack made porter powers, button heads, and things like that back in the shipyard days. They all wore safety purple, and that's kind of what clicked in my head, and that's how I got that. Vanessa's mom, my mother-in-law, his favorite color is yellow, and you need a warning when Nanny's coming around, so that's how we got the wedge is yellow, and a couple of stripes on the back there for the palm, the foot, and so you know, that's how I came up with the color scheme. The frame I did smoke gray, and most of my machinery and I'm comfortable with haze gray, machinery gray, dove gray, deck gray. You know, in the shipyards there's an enormous amount of grays, and they're pretty comfortable on a machine. They're easy to look at, and so you know, that's how I got the color scheme. And I know there's questions out there. Okay, how much did this one cost me? You'd be surprised at how it looks right now. Almost everything on this splitter was a used component or part or used piece of raw material. The beam, this cylinder right here was out of a car carrier. I shortened it 9 inches or so, and modified the ends the way I wanted it. This motor right here was destined for the scrap pile. It was an Elite shredder machine, and it had lost its wheel, the impeller, and it crashed, broke this entire side of the case 3/4 of the way around, and had 70 thousandths in play on the crankshaft. And I've gone in there and I've marine texed it up, and I put a shim in between the crank bearing and the cam shaft gear on the main crankshaft to minimize the in play, and built my own tank out of a piece of irrigation pipe out of the cranberry bog. The wedge was 3 separate pieces that I welded together and then remachined it, and the axle, the spindles, those are out of an old boat trailer. These lifting cylinders down here, they were for a job that the sliding shifting forks I was making up, and the gentleman and myself, we had a divorce. I did have to cut the end, and I swiveled them so that the ports would line up just right. And hydraulic tank I made. So you know, there was very little bit of money actually spent in this, but there was a good 6 months of time that it took me to go ahead and design and create this item, and create this splitter. Actually, I think it's a work of art. Some people will call it a splitter. Last year I split 10 cord with this, and that was my test mode. Junk magazines, wish books, dream catalogs, you know, you always get them, and they got wood splitters in there. They'll say this is a 30 ton wood splitter or 40-ton wood splitter, 50-ton wood splitter. I'm not going to say who's blowing smoke up your skirt or not. I'd like to let you decide on that. This right here is kind of my Bible. I got a plastic gear cover that covers it, but this is a machinery handbook, 17th edition, and in here is the conversion tables. And my particular machine right here, I have a 3000 psi dual stage pump, and I went for gallons per minute on it. I think I'm up to 16 or 18 gallons a minute on the high speed end, and then it cranks it on down for the pressure on the low end, and that's why I can get 28, almost 28 inch I got on the stroke there, 5 seconds each way, so a 10-second cycle totally on it. But anyway, in the book here, and I'm going to go ahead and take a picture of this and put it as a still shot there for you, so you can, pause it so that you can look at the chart here in the book. Now I set my relief at 2,800 pounds. There's no sense in running it right to the 3,000 pounds. And most of the ratings that you'll see in some of the wish books and stuff like that is if you ran it to the max peak all the time. Of course, how long do you want your gear to last? And do you need all of that? 4-inch ram, 3000 psi, gauge out here to be 19 ton. Now I'm running 28 on my relief there, and at 28, this is a 17.5 ton wood splitter. And so there's no bullshit there. I tell you, I'm totally happy and satisfied. This is a fun machine. The one thing that's really nice is I don't have to bend over. This thing will let you pick up logs in the vertical position, tilt them up, and you can split them in the horizontal position. So, there is no more picking up heavy logs and things like that. Well, I'm going to be getting back to creating my firewood for the shop here shortly, and if you're interested in me making a video and showing you how this thing handles in the field, hey, give me one of these on this video. All right, catch you later.